Now at 5, the city of Caney, Kansas is in a stage 3 water emergency. We're going to see what that means for residents. Plus, Marion Days is underway now in Carthage, how some attendees are breaking down language barriers. And
former President Donald Trump faces new charges related to the January 6th Capitol attack and the 2020 election. I'm Natalie Brand with the details of the historic indictment and reaction from his legal team.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The city of Caney, Kansas is experiencing a severe water shortage. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Authorities in Caney have categorized the situation as a stage 3 emergency. That's the top of the scale. It means residents can use water only for essential activities. Caney's water usually comes from the Little Caney River and backup reserve Timber Hill Lake, but the lake level is just too low right now. The city's pool water will be dechlorinated to be further used by residents. The city will also pump water from below the dam back up into the water lock. Those measures will help to keep Caney's reserve for another 3 months. With a couple of weeks to go before the beginning of the school year, the city's district is also taking measures to support the cause. Caney's not the only city in southeast Kansas dealing with a water shortage to some degree. We're going to have more on the situation tonight on KOAM News at 6 and 10. But right now, we're going to check in with meteorologist Sam Lane.
Thank you very much, Dow. Yeah, the drought has been ongoing, and this is something we've been talking about for months, that Chautauqua and Elk counties are under extreme drought right now. And of course, parts of Montgomery County as well. We do have some storms on radar, but notice where they are. They're way up to the north, kind of skirting around the ridge of high pressure that's dominating our weather, and that's going to continue through the next couple of days. In fact, we have an excessive heat warning for all of southeastern Kansas, all of northeast Oklahoma, and the southwestern corner of Missouri, and a heat advisory on the outskirts of that. So everyone is feeling the heat as we go into the evening hours, and we're going to drop down to around 100 degrees at 6 o'clock. Isn't that something? Dropping down to 100. And then as we go into tonight, we'll see a low of around 80. And the UV index tomorrow, of course, is going to be very high on the scale, which means about 10 to 15 minutes before you start to burn. So make sure you're taking the precautions. And looking down the lane, we are going to have a hot couple of days coming up, low rain chances, but we do have a cooler week next week. But even with the showers and storms, it looks like the drought is going to continue. And of course, we'll have more details on all of that coming up in your forecast in just a bit.
See you soon. Marion Days kicks off today in Carthage, Missouri. The event brings in Vietnamese Catholics from all around our nation. KOAM's Jasmine Knight is there live to tell us more.
We have tents set up and statues everywhere. Around each corner, there's going to be food, water, activities, and a bunch of people just socializing and having a great time. Marion Days is also celebrating its 44th year today. The festival aims to celebrate culture, traditions, and language. For the younger generations, it gives them an opportunity to use their native language, but also learn a little bit more English.
We try to get them to understand the Vietnamese culture, but and we also understand that they are American born, so English is more than their first language. So we have a program for them.
I remember even telling the teacher I would need to use the restroom would be hard. She would never understand me. I would just cry, never go back to school. But slowly, they started having this program at my school, which helped me learn some English, and slowly I got more friends. I wasn't the shy kid who didn't know how to talk, but I became more open, more wise, know how to use my words more.
Tonight, they also have a processional honoring the Virgin Mary, and the festival also runs until Saturday.
Very good. Have fun out there, Jasmine. Thank you so much. The Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas is teaming up with area EMS, sheriff's departments, and emergency management teams to provide health checks for residents. The first one was held today in West Mineral. They were offering free vaccines, vaccine education, blood pressure checks. The Cherokee County Sheriff's Office also handed out free gun locks.
Gun safety is a major importance, and maybe people don't have access to gun locks, so we are able to provide them to keep guns safe and away from kids. Theft prevention and scam, as the elderly get older, people call and they have a good story and they're trying to get money, so if we can educate them to keep them from getting their money stolen, that's always the best outcome.
The Health Center will host a vaccine clinic on the first Wednesday of each month. The next one is going to be September 6th in Weir. Former President Donald Trump is due to appear in court tomorrow. He's been given the option of doing so in person or virtually, but his attorney told CBS News he will be there if the security arrangements can be met. Reporter Natalie Brand is in Washington with more.
Security preparations are underway and demonstrators gathering outside the Washington, D.C. courthouse where former President Donald Trump is scheduled to be arraigned Thursday. This indictment related to his actions after losing the 2020 election on January 6th lists 4 felony charges accusing Trump of spreading lies, knowing his claims were false, and along with 6 co-conspirators organizing fake electors in 7 states he lost.
This is the first time that political speech has been criminalized, and they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he had corrupt intent.
Former federal prosecutor Harry Littman says that defense falls short.
His efforts to make this a political speech case will not fly, given the facts as alleged in the indictment.
Special counsel Jack Smith has yet to charge or even name the 6 co-conspirators listed in the indictment.
He's charged Trump and Trump alone when he could have charged many more.
Clues in the indictment suggest lawyers Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, Sidney Powell, as well as former Justice Department official Jeffrey Clark could be the potential co-conspirators.
This may be just a little push toward any of the 6 to say, okay, I didn't name you, here's your chance. Come on down, you can cooperate with me.
Some legal analysts say the narrow indictment means the trial could happen quickly, possibly wrapping up by next spring. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Several January 6th defendants were due in court in D.C. tomorrow, where Trump is set to appear, but those cases have been rescheduled to a later date. Still ahead, saving money on staying comfortable.
Some homeowners are saving up to 70% on heating and cooling costs, but after spending up front on a new investment. I'm Ashley Martinez, and I'll explain.
And next in Health Watch, how a change in diet could reduce your risk for early death by nearly 20%. Topping today's Health Watch, nearly 6 million women in the U.S. live in counties with no or limited access to maternity care. A new report from the March of Dimes shows states with more rural populations have the highest number of so-called maternity care deserts, defined as a county without a hospital or center that offers obstetric care. The problem is also getting worse. 70 additional counties have been added to that list since 2018. According to the CDC, the average life expectancy in the U.S. has dropped for a second year in a row from 77 years to 76. While COVID was a main factor for the drop in life expectancy, chronic health issues like heart disease also played a part. Now, new research shows you might be able to reduce your risk for early death by as much as 20%. Heart disease, cancer, dementia, these are all leading causes of death in the U.S.
There's a growing body of evidence that shows that healthy nutrition and medically tailored meals can significantly improve overall health outcomes.
In a recent study published in JAMA Internal Medicine, researchers found people can reduce their risk for early death by nearly 20% by following diets focused on eating more fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and legumes. Researchers followed 119,000 men and women over 36 years. Those who improved their diet over time were associated with lowering their risk of dying of neurodegenerative diseases like dementia by 7%, heart disease by up to 13%, and cancer by as much as 18%. So what food should you focus on for a longer life?
There's so much evidence that the more we eat that's plant-based, that's not processed, so fresh from garden to kitchen, is the direction to lean in.
So eat more whole foods like fruits, veggies, and grains, and cook more yourself for a longer and healthier life. By cooking more at home, you can control the ingredients in your food and reduce your risk for heart disease and early death. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Judek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we're going to talk about whether you should feed kibble or canned food to your dog.
And we're looking at the hot air continuing across our area right into the weekend, but some cool weather is on the way as well. I'll have the details when we come back. Well, today has been the hottest day so far this summer with a high of 103 degrees, and it looks like we're going to have another toasty one again tomorrow. First, let's take a look outside right now at Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, where you have lots of blue skies and lots of sunshine, and of course that means lots of heat. There's that high of 103 starting out at 80 degrees for the low. That's not much of a low, but look at the averages, 91 and 70, so we were way above that. Believe it or not, we weren't close to the record for the date, 110, set back in that brutal summer of 2011, and of course we're way behind on the rainfall for the year. There are some storms on radar, but they're way up to the north in the Kansas City area. In fact, flash flood watches are in effect for eastern Missouri, southern Illinois, and western Kentucky. We are going to start to see an increase in chances of showers and thunderstorms in our area, but we have to wait a couple more days before that starts to come into being. Right now, look at these temperatures. Brutal. Parsons, 107. Same thing in Neodesha, 106 in Chanute, 96 in Nevada. Same thing in Stockton for the cool spots, believe it or not, and 100 even down in Jay. But when you factor in the dew point, look at this. This is downright ugly. I feel sorry for the folks in Fort Scott. 114 is what it feels like right now outside in Fort Scott. 110 in Nevada, same thing in Stockton, 111 in Nowata, so just absolutely brutal. And then as we go into tomorrow, temperatures are going to be feeling like, again, 110, 111 up to the north, as well as down in Oklahoma with Nowata and Veneta at 111. Then on Friday, it's going to be brutal hot again, but a little bit better. At least it'll feel like 107, 108, 104 in Girard, so a little bit of a cool down, but that's a foretaste of things to come as we go through the weekend. Precipitation chances are going to be low for tonight and most of tomorrow. Maybe an isolated storm or two, especially up towards the north for tomorrow. And you can see on the rainfall forecast as we go through Sunday evening. By Sunday evening, we'll start to see some showers and storms across our area, dumping around maybe a quarter to half an inch of rain in some isolated spots. That will certainly be welcome. Ridge of high pressure in control right now, and as we go through the next few days, it's going to start to retreat back towards the west, and that's going to allow a cold front to drop down from the north. Well, let's just call it a cool front, with temperatures getting closer to normal for this time of year and also increasing our rain chances. Tonight, lows mostly fair in the area with generally around 80 degrees for the low, and then tomorrow afternoon, hot once again, temperatures above 100 across most of the area. Then as we go into Friday morning, mild once again with lows in the 70s. But notice rain chances start to increase up towards our north. And then Friday afternoon, temperatures again around 100 degrees. And then as we go into Saturday morning, temperatures start to cool off just a little bit. And notice we have more scattered showers and storms across the area with lows in the 70s. Over the next 7 days, we have tomorrow 103, Friday 99, and then Saturday 98, and then we finally drop down to normal on Sunday with a high of 92. But check out Monday, 86 with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, and then we stay normal for the rest of the forecast period with off and on chances of showers and storms. So we're about to turn the corner. We just have another 36 hours to go.
Wow, we'll be glad to get on the other side of this corner for sure. Thanks, Sam. Coming up, why an organization has downgraded the credit worthiness rating of the United States government. Topping today's Consumer Watch, an influential firm has downgraded the U.S. government's creditworthiness, in part due to what it called an erosion of governance. Fitch Ratings says that America's AAA debt rating, the highest possible, has been lowered to AA+. The report cited the recent debt ceiling debate in Congress that nearly led to a government default and a, quote, steady deterioration in standards of governance over the last 20 years. Millions of Americans have installed solar panels for a clean source of energy with a lower monthly electric bill. Well, now some people are turning to a new way to heat and cool their home. Astrid Martinez reports.
The next step in eco-friendly energy could look like this. The long pipes being drilled into the ground will help heat and cool this home using geothermal energy. The process takes advantage of temperatures underground, which tend to stay around 55 degrees year-round. In the winter, fluid is sent through the warm ground, then enters a pump that heats it even more and distributes hot air into the house.
The goal is to take advantage of the fact that the soil has a lot of heat capacity, a lot of availability of heat.
In the summer, the system is reversed. Hot air is pulled out of the home and sent through the ground to cool. Residential geothermal makes up just 1% of the U.S. heating and cooling market, but now there are new incentives.
There's an amazing policy landscape helping homeowners afford this technology.
Kathy Hanoun is the co-founder of the company Geothermal Dandelion and says, like solar, the government is offering tax breaks.
On the federal level, we have the investment tax credit where the federal government just pays for 30% of the system.
That would mean a homeowner buying a $30,000 system would pay $21,000, and many states have their own tax credits, which can bring the price down even more.
Nobody else, none of our neighbors or friends have done this, so they're all looking up to us to see how the performance is going to be.
Homeowners using geothermal energy can save anywhere from 30 to 70% on heating and cooling costs depending on where they live. People in places with cold winters and hot summers see the largest benefit. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
America's ban on incandescent light bulbs has been a long time coming, 16 years in the making, and for the most part it is now a reality. The rule was issued in 2007, then rolled back by the Trump administration. It was then updated last year by the Biden administration and went into full effect yesterday. The rule requires that light bulbs emit a minimum of 45 lumens of light per watt. Our pet vet on call next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, as pandemic-era rent relief comes to an end, we're going to tell you what you need to know ahead of the deadline to repay your back rent. Then on KOAM News at 6, we'll have more on the water restrictions facing the city of Caney, Kansas. Plus, a Neosho, Missouri animal shelter says it's at full capacity. And the Missouri High School Athletics Association has approved a Joplin-based non-school affiliated football team to play against school teams. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Pet owners often fret about the best choice of food for their furry friends. Well, today's question for our pet vet on call asks, assuming my pet has healthy teeth, does canned pet food have any advantage over dry pet food?
Actually, yes, it does. First of all, it has nothing to do with teeth health. Kibble food. It's an old wives' tale, get that out of your mind. Canned food is better because it has less grains that it takes to bake into a kibble, less carbs, less vegetables and things that dogs really cannot digest. And of the canned foods, the cans that are solid are better than these vegetable puree foods that they're now making where you have bits of carrots and peas and stuff in them. Dogs can't digest that. It goes right through them. Imagine when you eat corn. The next day, what do? Flush it down the toilet. Canned food is better.
Hey, we invite questions from anyone. If you have a question, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. From the Joplin Humane Society, we have Hondo. The shelter says he's a male Labrador Retriever puppy. And from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society, we have this 2-year-old female short-hair cat. Her name is Troubles, but the shelter says she is actually anything but. They say she's very mellow, likes to follow you around. If you're looking for a pet, we invite you to at least check out your local Humane Society. They have a lot of them, they always do, and most of them are no troubles at all.
Well, the one I adopted, you know what its name is?
What's
Rascal.
That? Rascal. I like that. I had a cat named Critter once, and yeah.
So it's appropriate for him. He's a little bit of a rascal.
I'm sure.
We have hot weather, of course, to talk. And if your animals are outside, make sure that they are getting lots of water. And of course yourself too, with temperatures of 103 tomorrow, easily become dehydrated. And then as we go into the weekend, cooler weather in store for our area, thank goodness, with temperatures getting closer to normal.
Yeah, but we'll welcome some relief.
Yes.
Long overdue. Thanks for joining us. CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.